Welcome back to the Hypnotic Specter series. We are on Jotunheim in Middle Ages. I just woke up, so this is going to be a bit of a hipfire video, just for the sake of preserving some of the history of the game. Um, my human opponent is on Machaka, and there's been kind of some ongoing early wars. We're playing against all difficult opponents, which means we are going to be attritioning units a little bit more. We're not going to be able to commit to too many different wars. Um, Most of the decision space right now is around how I, go after Nazca because I've been at war with Nazca and Vanheim. Vanheim has not been in a position to attack me. Vanheim is also at war with my human opponent Machaca, when Machaca's war is going a lot better than mine. My expansion phase was pretty bad, so we're kind of trying to just avoid any sort of instances. I'm going to make this a pretty short video. Um, Kind of the main thing to know is, we're researching up in Conjuration. We're going to go for Construction 5 and see if we can do some type of thugging. We have a really strong Bless, and so I'm hoping that that incarnate Bless with regeneration, we can make some pretty surly thugging units slash, I don't think that you can call them super combatants, but yeah, just very strong thugging units. So again, this is all kind of an experimental game for me because I've never really played Jotunheim. So we're gonna see how that works out, right or wrong. A couple other callouts from this turn. There's some battles. We can see the battle in heaven. We'll watch that really quickly. This is probably the biggest battle of the turn. So um, so literally no losses. Um, We can also take a peek at what Machaca is working with in Vanheim. We can count the number of black hunters. I think that's my baseline for how well he's doing, is how many black hunters has he amassed. He's up to 35, which is a lot. So we're going to figure out how to not get run over by that. Let's see, Tower of Heavens. This was an inconsequential PD fight. I did find it interesting. We scouted out a Nazca versus Nabah fight, which brings up an important topic. Nabah did accept our non-aggression pact proposal. There was a battle in Glaviana, which I had decided to reinforce in Glavania because I was trying to figure out whether or not I could press into Nazca. But we'll look at what happened this turn and kind of some of the decisions that I made right now. Mini -2. And then we finished the fortress in Mir, which is good. So we're just building up our infrastructure, trying to get our fortresses upgraded, and so that we have higher resources, higher administrative bonuses. So let's take a look. So Mir is doing well. We're good here. I'm not worried about this as a defensive position. But let's take a peek at the position of Nazca. So Nazca is sitting on 260 total units in their capital. Rusty Badlands and Kepis are actually in Nazca's cap circle. I didn't realize that when I was initially tapping into that, but here we are. So I'm trying to be a little cautious, and what he did last turn was he moved from Kepis to Black Alps, which actually is really interesting because what he could do from here is attack into Gifa and then down, or to Royal Forest. We actually really want to hold Royal Forest. It's the only forest province that we have access to that's allowing us to recruit Wolf Riders, Raiders. And then I also want to get a lab up there and have it start recruiting Betties. So let's see, we also found some death sites with our site searching. We found burial mounds. We found the Bleak Lands. This is the higher end death site, and so this is pretty good. It does increase death by a maximum of 2, but we get 2 death gems, 1 glamour gem per turn. And then it unlocks the ability to recruit these gray enchantresses, which actually opens up a potential for an Heir 2 mage for us. So it's a 1 in 3rd chance for an Heir 2 mage, which we probably want. That allows us to do things like Mist Form, Gift of Flight, so flying giants, stuff like that. So I don't know when we'll invest in that. We're still pretty constrained on resources, and playing from behind means we don't want to over-index on stuff like labs, which doesn't give us immediate value. So I'm kind of trying to figure out where we want to put down labs. We also still just want to focus on this. Like we've got a construction bonus of 20 um, sitting in Anidra, and so I'm trying to figure out if there's a way for me to get to some of the construction bonus rituals. We're pretty far off from that. I don't think we have access to a single Earth Mage. But either way, I want to do some experimentation with item crafting for the, um, what are they called? These guys, the Jotun Jarls. Because the nice thing about our Bless is that these guys could potentially turn into really strong units with some items, given the regeneration, given the shared damage. So I'm wondering if we can just like really double down on the regeneration and give them some armor, maybe some stronger weapons, and then have some semi-super combatant units. So we'll see. That's a longer term play. For this turn, what I've decided to do, if I wasn't playing from behind, I would split this force and I would attack Rusty Badlands and Kepis. But just because Nazca is sitting on so many units, I do feel the need to just kind of consolidate force and just kind of exchange territory here for now. I want to deal with this fighting force, and then once this fighting force is dealt with, then we'll come around. We'll eventually take Berman Highlands back. This is not a priority. This is pretty low income. It's not pulling. We're not getting any resource bonus from it, so we don't need this territory. That site's yes. One other small detail. I did notice Machaca took Lake of Doom, so golf clap to my opponent for figuring out that there are more water items in the game. So yeah, I think we're in pretty good spot. Again, we're just trying to build up the infrastructure. Anidra finishes the fortress next turn, so I'm feeling pretty confident that we'll be good there. Once this comes online, we will be getting... Why is that grayed out? Huh. I don't know why that's grayed out. Once that comes online, we'll have 2 forts that will be able to produce the Jotun Jarls from. So that will help us put together more diversified fighting forces. And yeah, we're gonna test out some other units. Again, have been trying to figure out how to play this faction, and I've done a little bit of research. I've read some of the unit stat cards, and I'm switching recruitment in the cap circle to start recruiting some of these Ulfhedin. I initially didn't think very highly of these guys just because they have such low protection and defense and no armor. But just the fact that they have base regeneration, now that I'm going to be recruiting, I'm going to be finishing up construction, and I'm going to be moving on to Alteration 5. Maybe we can do something where we can give them some group buffs or some point buffs and just have some thugging armies. So we'll see. That's it for now. Take care. If you have any comments or suggestions, like I got a comment the other day that was, talking about some of the gameplay from my last game in the Skull Clamp series, and it was just really helpful. It's really nice to hear from people that play a lot of this game. For context, I have played about 600 hours of this game with a couple of my friends, as well as of course against the AI, but mostly small games with my friends and boatload of AI. So this game really is an iceberg, and the more I learn about this game, the more I feel like there's never a never-ending list of things to learn. So yeah, let us know if you have suggestions or feedback on what I could be doing better. I'm all ears. Take care.